Hey everyone, it's Dr. Jason Deitch, and today I am here with the wonderful, the talented, the incredible Dr. Janice Hughes. Janice, thank you so much
Hi.
for taking some time to have a conversation with me about what's going on with you and why you are involved with this new thing called OneChiropractic.org. So let me just take a quick moment, let our viewers know who you are, some of your background, and then I'm going to ask you what you've been up to. For
Right.
those of you that don't know Janice, Janice basically, besides being an incredible personal friend, is someone who has really been groundbreaking in wellness-oriented chiropractic practice. She was in practice for 15 years and really almost built sort of a new model for wellness practices way ahead of its time. Did that for a lot of years. And then got so much interest from other people, then decided to coach thousands of chiropractors on how to reproduce her model. You did that for quite a few years. Were incredibly successful doing that. I know that because I had the opportunity to work with you during those years as well. Why don't you give us a quick update as to what you've been up to most recently?
Sure. Actually, that's a very polite way to say that I was kind of trying to do this crazy model that I knew nothing about, and that I then coached people on something that I didn't know a lot about. But, again, part of, I think, what I was so fortunate to be in chiropractic at a time where it was just about passion and really talking about the principles of who we are as chiropractors and the amazing thing that we do, the privilege that we have to be in practice. So since not being in practice now, it's almost hard to believe, but it's been over 10 years, 11 years that I haven't been in private practice. And in coaching others, I knew that again was a way to get our message out. But then what I've been up to since then, for the last 5 years basically, is I'm involved with another chiropractor who has basically created a groundbreaking biotech company. And what we do is we work with kids with autism. And when I say that, it's not me working with those kids. We have a product. We're in stages of FDA approval. And so it's been going about the business of basically fundraising and building a biotech company to bring something to the world that is pretty unique and different. So
Wow.
it's definitely an interesting ride, and it's using a lot of the skills that I've learned through practice and talking to people and then speaking in the profession. And then it's just been capturing all of that into a really, really big and wonderful project.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess, spectrum of resources and talent that you have from both being a chiropractor, being in practice, understanding the lifestyle we have, but now really venturing into, for lack of a better way of saying it, the real business world.
Yeah.
Fundraising and venture capital and investors and, really being able to have sort of those bottom line value oriented conversations.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
and let's make this one of those. So you, I'm proud to say, are one of the founders of OneChiropractic.org.
Yes.
Let me just open it up to ask you, why are you involved and why should others be too? What compelled you to get involved with this project?
That's a great question, Jason, because, it's kind of one of those things, busy people have a lot of projects and a lot of things that we could do, or that we have the talent to do, or that we see could happen. One Chiropractic for me represents a collection of great people and great minds coming together to say, why are we still kind of doing the exact same thing we've been doing for a lot of years? And how could we do something different and bring some great collective and collaborative energy together? And that births some conversations. And I feel really fortunate to call the founders friends. People that I've known for a lot of years, some that were mentors of mine that I looked up to, some that I got to know through the coaching world. So again, it's kind of this eclectic mix of a lot of us that bring very different things to the table. But what we all have in common is an absolute passion for chiropractic and, more importantly, for chiropractors. And what I still see missing is a collective playing field, a place where there can be conversations and, almost more importantly, a rallying call. One of the things I learned as I went off to do this biotech company, and, we fortunately have a couple of chiropractors involved as investors in what we do. But from my perspective, bluntly, most chiropractors couldn't afford to be investing in us or to do the things that we're doing out in the world. And that, from a pure philosophical place, was just shocking to me. And that a lot of chiropractors don't even know what we're doing or aren't even interested in a conversation other than, well, what is going to happen for me next week in practice? And I understand the realities after coaching people for a lot of years that we have to think, what are we doing next week? Or how do we build our practices? But somewhere I feel like this is a rallying call to people like that in practice, or even if you're not practicing anymore, but you're still connected to who we are as chiropractors and what's so brilliant about what we do. And so to me, onechiropractic.org is about having a collective conversation. So I can have this conversation with you, or now hopefully we can start to take the conversations some of us get to have and bring it to other people and say, we want to hear from you. We want you to also have voice. We want you to have a direct line to some people that get a lot of stuff done. And I think we have the opportunity to harness some of our skills and the eclectic mix of who we are as founders and then groups and organizations we've been involved with. And I just, for the first time, I'm really excited to see that, like, we're creating something that isn't the status quo. It's not another organization that is going to do what some of the ones in the profession currently do. It's kind of like when I was leaving coaching in the profession. I had a number of people say to me, well, why don't you just set up your own company? And I looked at them and said, we have no shortage of great coaching companies in this profession. Why would I then think that I needed to create another exact same company? And so that's what I feel about One Chiropractic, is that we're not saying we're going to do the things that some others do really, really well. In fact, we'd like them to get involved so we can harness and use their skills, but we want to create a different, even playing field for everybody to have a different kind of conversation.
I love the way you're describing that and articulating it. What do you think, from your standpoint, what's your vision for the future of this profession? What do you think are the possibilities? I mean, I love that you get to sort of wear different hats or get to look at things through different lenses. Where do you think we are as a profession, and what opportunities do you think we have? Should we have tens of thousands of chiropractors who decide that they want to, participate in this conversation and really direct their focus and their talent and help us, perhaps even support some of these other partners? Where do you think the opportunities lie?
I think the biggest opportunity is to just open our mouths. As I started going, and speaking about what we were doing in purely financial worlds and environments and at Wall Street and, then in these biotech conferences where they're looking for the newest things, venture capitalists are there and, people are looking for what's coming through the pipeline. I can't tell you how many times as you'd sit at a luncheon or someone would speak to me after, they're like, wow, I love my chiropractor. Or, oh, tell me more about chiropractic. I'm really interested. And it was like the ease of the chiropractic conversation was just there. Like, it was almost like I'm sort of going, well, could we talk about what we're doing or, why I'd like exposure and money from you? But instead, it was just really interesting for them to go, oh, chiropractic, tell me more. And so I don't feel like there are as many closed doors or lack of opportunities out there. I think what tends to happen is a lot of those people sort of don't know where to go. Their local chiropractor, or the one they're telling me they love, is often just caught up in the day-to-day practice realities and not talking about a bigger playing field that chiropractic could be on. So I feel like the first thing is for us, I guess just in a collective way, to have a really clear voice of, hi, here's who we are and here's what we do. And I know some chiropractors are focused on wellness platforms, for example, in companies in the business world. How do we harness them and talk about the things that they're doing, or maybe highlight the things that they're doing without trying to reinvent the wheel? But I continue to feel, and it's probably just from my speaking days, that a lot of times there's a lot of fluff or a lot of stuff being talked about that really isn't, hey, this is really unique. Pay attention. And chiropractors have a really strong and powerful voice.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time talking amongst ourselves, unfortunately. Yes. I wish it was even just talk. I guess maybe it's bickering, arguing, or even worse.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. If we, stopped pointing inwards and actually sort of collectively got on the things we agree on, and, really start, addressing to whether it's investors, whether it's Wall Street, whether it's employers, whether it's government, whether it's wherever it is, imagine if we had the collective voice of tens of thousands of chiropractors together. Yeah. But also, to go back to where, you originally started in your heart and passion, and your original comment is we really have to support this profession and get, those chiropractors that are struggling, that can't think about much more than making sure they make payroll and, paying the mortgage or rent for that matter. We've really got to focus on helping them get, go from, survival to thrival, for lack of a better word.
Absolutely. And, part of it, I'm looking for a platform to do that. Like if we stop and think about, between practice or the people that I coach, I'm a lot of degrees separated from that now. And yet I still have some great ideas or some things I'd love to share and inspire people with. And I'm not setting up another company to do that. So how could we offer that? And collectively amongst the founders, the interesting thing is every one of us is thriving. We're thriving in different ways or in different formats, and some are in practice and some are more from the vendor world or from the political world, but think about that collective experience that we could share, with others. And so, anybody listening to this, the part of the whole point is, I'm going to call it philanthropy, that it's one thing for me to come from a business world and to talk about, raising money and the skill sets that takes. But one of the things I've realized in my own life is I'm not in a position to maybe donate millions and millions of dollars to colleges or to, organizations. I really have some skills and some ideas that I'd really love to philanthropically share with chiropractors. So I see One Chiropractic and the founders and the collective consciousness as that, like it's really a way to give to those chiropractors that you're exactly right, are in the trenches and actually need help. And I think sometimes start to feel like they're out there on their own, or, well, then I need to join, a company and pay for coaching. And I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying that sometimes that's such a big stretch that here's a bunch of people that have been doing a lot of things for a lot of years that could maybe just be one direct hand away from you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, our tagline is one profession, one purpose, one vision, one chiropractic. So I guess in closing, if I were to ask you, why should I as a chiropractor, join onechiropractic.org? Why should I?
Why wouldn't you? That's the first. So for me, the coach in me just asks Socratic questions like, why wouldn't you? Do you not believe in yourself or in chiropractic enough? And if you answer that, absolutely, I got into this profession because I really wanted to make a difference. You can do that adjusting. How do we do that on a bigger playing field? And so some of you listening, it might be just joining and kind of staying on the fringe and watching a little bit. Or for some of you, you're ready to step in and play at a bigger game, we'll call it. And this is, by being a collective, a way to be involved and have your voice heard. So from my perspective, it's just, why wouldn't you do this?
I love it. And that is the coach in you. It's just brilliant, right?
It is.
Yeah. Ask better questions. We'll get better answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Closing comments, closing thoughts?
I think just for anybody listening to this, join us. There's an opportunity. I am the first to say I don't have any of this figured out. I am very fortunate that the other founders are much more talented people than I am at a whole bunch of things that can help make this work. You know, Jason, you're an example, like with the social media piece of it. And I don't have to figure that out. So between people like you and Bill Esteb and the way to put a message together, you know, but I know that what I do offer is, first of all, I spent a lot of years sort of thinking that, you know, I wasn't necessarily that female voice, but guess what? I am. And I'm really happy and proud to be that. And we have an unbelievable percentage of our profession that are amazing women. And I want them to join us.
Absolutely.
And I know that many really key people are already really big supporters. So, you know, I just, in closing, like, please help us and help us get some things figured out along the way and give us feedback on that and just jump in.
Right on. Janice, it's always great to see you. I look forward to seeing you at one of our upcoming conferences or meetings or random happenings. Thanks for sharing. Thanks so much for really being a part of this and contributing your time, your talent, your treasure. It's remarkable. And the entire original group of founders and the new founders we're attracting is just awesome and inspiring. So thank you.
And we have to thank them. You know, This started as a conversation, and already what's happening before any kind of technical official launch, you know, is a lot of really other key people that have played unbelievable roles in this profession. So it's actually just really fun, and it's an honor to be able to have these conversations.
Yeah. I enjoy it. Let's do it again sometime soon. If you've been watching this, hopefully something was said to inspire you to be able to join and be a part of what it is that we're up to. Thanks for your patience with that. Listen, please look into what we're doing here at onechiropractic.org. Please join us in the near future. If you have questions, ask. If not, why wouldn't you? Just get involved.